Well, it is great to be joining you guys for this last series of the regular season. Now, let's just hope this weather can stay right here with us. But Vanderbilt is finding some momentum at the exact time in the season that they want to be finding it, especially the guy with ice in his veins, as Andrew said last night. That's Braden Holcomb. Not only did he hit that 3-run blast to walk it off and help Vanderbilt win game 1 of this series, but he's faced so much adversity this season, in and out of the lineup, really until that Oklahoma series, which was mid-April. And I talked about this with head coach Tim Corbett, and he said he really wanted him to earn it, but he knew he was always going to be a focal point of this team. He actually told me the beginning of the season, he looked at his head coaches and said, we aren't going anywhere this season without Braden Holcomb figuring it out. And so he brought Braden in his office. He talked about confidence. He talked about mentality, and the message was, you got to earn your spot. Guys, I don't think he just earned a spot back in this lineup. I think he earned being a leader going into the postseason. It is so exciting to be joining you guys tonight. It is a beautiful night here at Hawkins Field. It's crazy to think about, but after tonight's game against Indiana State, there is only one more non-conference game left, and I'm sure that's wild to think about for you guys. People sometimes overlook these midweek matchups, and I talked to head coach Tim Corbin yesterday, and he told me that they actually put a lot of emphasis on these Tuesday games. Well, I want to add in about J.D. Thompson, because first off, one thing we know about him, he got his nutrition in today, because I saw him at Chipotle eating alone. So we know that's a good thing. But I was also talking to Josh Foster, an assistant coach here, and he called him a silent assassin. He says he just goes in, does his business in a professional manner. And Corbin also said he's faced a lot of adversity in his life, and that helps him in the game, and we saw that against the win against Alabama. We also saw that in Tennessee. Even though he didn't get the win, he had a great game. And guys, he's usually leading off in a series, so it's a little weird to see him now, but Coach Corbin said he wanted him to have a full week of rest with this Thursday, Friday, Saturday schedule. In light of senior night, I had to catch up with 4-year senior Jonathan Vastine, and I asked him why he came back senior year instead of pursuing professional baseball, and without hesitation, he said a Vanderbilt degree goes a long way, and I think that's all you need to know about this guy. I asked him when he felt the most growth here, and he told a story not many people know. He said his very first game here at Vanderbilt, he was playing first base, and he said he just felt like a deer in headlights out there, but Coach Corbin gave him another shot, and he's ran with it ever since. Now it's a full circle moment for him. He was getting emotional because his whole family is here tonight, including his fiance. What a journey it's been for Jonathan Vastine. Yeah, you guys talked about how great some guys are doing tonight at manufacturing runs. Well, I asked Coach Corbin about Sunday's game when the offense was on fire, and he says when this team is sparking on all cylinders, they're going to use the middle of the field. They're going to battle in the pitch count. Well, guess what? Mac Rose's home run, it was a direct result of that, and we've also seen Braden Holcomb use the middle of the field twice today. They were moving pretty sluggish in that loss, and that's exactly how they played against Ole Miss. So tonight means they need to gain momentum, they need to gain confidence, because coming up, they got a heavy schedule. 3 games against Alabama, then Tennessee, and then Kentucky. And as you guys know, the top 16 teams at the end of this have a better chance of hosting a regional. Guys, you know it's hard to get Coach Corbin to talk about himself, so I said, come on, you've been here almost 2 decades. How have you evolved? And he gave a great answer. He told me you start trusting your instincts. They just get sharper. You start trusting those hunches, and we saw that in Tennessee. People were questioning him with closers that he left in the game, and then look how that worked out. So he said after 41 years of coaching, it's about instinct and trusting the team that you built. He actually compared it to teaching a kid how to drive. At first, you're on the pedals, but eventually you let go and move to the back seat, and when you feel confident enough in a team, he said that's where the good stuff happens. You guys have been here a while, so I'm sure you've seen many special moments like this one, but I was talking to Coach Corbin about the standing up against cancer when they were at Ole Miss. And he said it's one of those moments in the season that really unites your team. He said everyone was holding a sign with someone they knew battling cancer. And he looks at his team as a family. He says whether it's them visiting the hospital or taking this stand against cancer, it's more than just them showing how many people are fighting this disease. Talk about someone who has been through a lot at a young age. Sawyer Hawks not only lost his mom, but a few weeks ago we saw him removed from the lineup because he was at his grandmother's funeral. And he said his grandma was a huge contributor to his baseball career. She actually camped out at Air Force to watch his games. So he said this team has really been like a family. Coach Corbin has that open door policy, and Vanderbilt will forever be remembered in his heart as he overcomes some of the hardest times in his life. He says he's going to use those moments as fuel on the field. Well, when he came back, that game against Alabama, he went 2 innings, no runs. I can't wait to see what this guy does in the postseason. Guys, after Brody Johnston almost had me knocked out with that foul ball, Coach Corbin motioned to Brody to use that middle of the field again with 2 strikes, and that's exactly what he did to drive in a run. And that's what I talked about with Coach Corbin yesterday as well. Ethan McIlvain has been loving pressure lately. After game 2 against Tennessee, he texted Coach Corbin that night and said, "I want the ball again tomorrow." And Andrew, you know, that can go one or two ways when you text coach you want more playing time, but hey, he backed it up, bases loaded in the 9th, and he won it. Corbin says that was actually the most poise and confidence he's seen from him all. Riley Nelson, this guy just slides under the radar. He's leading in almost every offensive category, slugging, on base, walks, but from Canada to Texas to Vanderbilt, he quite literally wears his roots on his sleeve with the Canadian flag stitched right here. It's a nod to his family and where he was born. He says not many people actually know he's from Canada, and he said his whole family's watching tonight. He said there was a point in his life he had to choose between baseball and hockey, to no surprise, but the biggest thing hockey taught him was that mental toughness, not getting attention in the transfer portal, and he said he's now living his dream, and that's right here with Coach Corbin. I asked him, do you still have those pinch me moments? And he said, honestly, every single time I'm on this field.
What's going on?
You guys were just talking about Austin Nye and how you like how he's getting these strikeouts, using a variety of pitches. Well, I was talking to one of the assistant coaches today, and they said that's exactly what they love about him, the 4 different pitches he uses in his game. They also said they love his mentality as just a freshman. And guys, looking out on the field, I would not guess this guy is a freshman, how he handles himself. Talk about a full circle moment. When Riley Nelson was playing summer ball, he lived with a teammate he barely knew, and that teammate was Vanderbilt pitcher Ethan McIlvain. Fast forward, the two not only won a championship together that summer of high school, but now they are college roommates here at Vanderbilt. These two went from being strangers, living in a host family house, and discussing their dreams of wanting to play Division I baseball to now conquering that dream side by side.